I don't even know where you sitting at. Like.
What's going on, Slurred Words fans? It is June 11th. You'll probably hear this June 12th, but it's June 11th as we record this right now. We watched Game 5 yesterday. The Warriors, they came back. It looked like it was all over. Next thing you know, Nick Nurse takes the timeout. All the momentum shifts. We're going to get into it. Matt, how you doing?
I'm good. I was really hoping that the Raptors would close it out. I think this will end up being a Pyrrhic victory. Yes, that is a long word that I used, a good word I used.
What does that mean?
I think this a Pyrrhic victory. It's like a win, but at what cost? So they won. They lose Durant. You know, they won the battle. They might lose the war. Look, here's the thing. I know Durant went down, but this is about as easy as you get for a closeout game in the finals. I mean, a team that's reeling, that's covered in injuries, you're going home after beating them twice on their floor. I mean, they were reeling, and I know Kevin Durant got out hot and kind of got them going, and Klay Thompson has actually had one of the best three-point shooting finals in finals history. So that's not to be dismissed, but I really thought that was Toronto needed to close that one out. Not saying that they can't do it. Of course, I think they're the favorites for coming back to Oracle. They've already won there twice. What's to stop them from winning three times? I did want to talk about two plays that I thought. One, underrated play with a minute and 30 left in the third. Danny Green scored in transition. It was like a layup and fell down. And you could see immediately Steph Curry was going to get the ball to try to push it down the court. And Kawhi Leonard recognized it, steps in front of him, prevents the inbound pass, lets Danny Green get up and is able to push them off. And I thought that was like, I saw it, and it's like, that's why Kawhi is as good as he is. He recognizes those type of things where he's like, oh, okay, I need to slow down the inbound pass because we're going to be playing a man down, and he's able to do that. I think that's why he's been so good. Those small plays like that, and then also, I want to say Fred VanVleet left Curry open on a box out. This is the first time all series that Fred VanVleet has done something that I was like, man, you got to be better than that. Left Curry wide open, didn't box him out. Curry ended up getting the rebound and passed it to Klay Thompson, who got a three. And plays like that matter because they won by it was 1 point, right?
Yeah, 1 point.
So plays like that matter. Got to box them out every possession.
I mean, yeah, every single play did matter. I feel like the Warriors. This just felt like a traditional Warriors game through and through. The Raptors were playing the Warriors part with that late run, kind of. But then you get the Warriors falling apart after like a Draymond Tech. Or was it a Boogie Tech?
Yeah.
I think it was Draymond Tech.
Draymond Tech. And I was like, oh, man, it's over. After that, same exact thing. After that Draymond Tech, I was like, uh-oh.
That's when they went on their run. They took the lead. Kawhi got hot. And then it seemed like Boogie was reeling. Boogie was having a great game. And then it seems like he just kind of got gassed.
Yeah, do you think, is this a plus or minus? Do you have more confidence in Boogie after this game or less? Or no change?
Every time he plays more, I feel better about him. The more he gets out on the court, the more he's going to feel more comfortable.
Plus. He was incredible to start. He hits that three, he makes a couple layups.
He had a lot of big plays on offense, yeah.
But
I think he was
made
just
some real dumb mistakes that almost paid, and I mean they're lucky that Toronto couldn't capitalize. But yeah, sorry to interrupt you. I just thought I'd point out.
No, yeah, I like that because Boogie, he just seemed gassed. He seemed like he was reeling at the end of the game, and I think that almost really came down to cost him, if not for Klay making a big shots, and then Steph coming off. It wasn't really a screen. Well, he came off like a back screen. He's running down the court, and he pops that shot. As soon as he released it, he said, that's in. He hit that so hard. He was sprinting, and he stopped on a dime. He drilled it. And that was awesome.
That was after he had missed, like, the last 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. The last 3 or 4 he shot came up short. And I was like, oh, he lost his legs. I was like, he's done. But he made that one, and, I mean, the one that counts. You know, that's what great players do.
do you want to go right into the Nick Nurse timeout? That's kind of what everyone's been talking about at around the 3.5-minute mark.
Talk about that.
After Kawhi gets real hot, he hits like 8 points in a row, I think. He was on fire.
Yeah, he had 10 points in a row. So he hit 2 threes and then 2 layups.
Mm-hmm.
10 points in a row. And not only that, the Golden State couldn't score. They were terrible offensively. They had someone out. It was either... I don't think... It wasn't both Clay and Steph, but I think they had like Clay sitting or something like that. Someone was sitting, regardless. Or maybe it was Draymond. I don't know. One of their main starters was sitting, and they had him. They had him because you wait till the dead ball. The problem is, so at 3 minutes, if there hasn't been if either team has 2 or more timeouts left, a timeout has to be used at the next ball after 3 minutes, and that team just loses it. So Toronto would have gone from 4 timeouts to 2 timeouts at the next dead ball. So what Nick Nurse did and Kyle Lowry did was they called a timeout to use that timeout. Then at the next dead ball, they use their third so that they don't waste one. But it's one of those things. It's like, yes, that seems like a smart move, but it's like if your team's playing good against the Warriors, let them play good because that doesn't happen often.
What I've been hearing is it seemed like Nick Nurse was worried about Kawhi's legs and felt like they were just getting a little gassed. Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you saw Kyle Lowry. He missed the open 3 at the end. It seemed like he was tired. They've been grinding all series. Kawhi has been having to grind all playoffs, really. He's played multiple overtime games. He played the one really long overtime game in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Bucks.
He went to 7 against the
Bucks.
76ers, 6 against the Bucks.
6 against the Bucks. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, They've had a long series. I mean, it did seem like they were a little gassed. The timeout came at a weird time. The crowd was on fire.
That's the thing. It's like maybe he was a little concerned, and maybe that was his thought process. But it's like Kawhi hadn't missed, so it's like, I mean, you might as well give him at least one more. Like, if he goes down there and he's losing his legs a little bit and he misses the shot short? Well, then you can have someone foul, or you can do whatever you want. You can just suffer through one more possession, then call the timeout.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. It was. I mean, yeah, you said it earlier. The Warriors weren't shooting it well. They didn't score. They were in this rut. They're the team that needs to be calling the timeout. They need to quiet the crowd. They need to figure out. They need to change the momentum. They need to slow the game down. But it seemed like Nick Nurse was maybe a little worried about that. They're like, maybe the crowd's impacting them. They're going to play too quickly, and he wanted to slow it down, which ultimately came back to bite him. I mean, everyone was ready to write off the Warriors. The Raptors up 6.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there. I'm like, this game's not over. I mean, it's just a 2-possession game. And this Warriors team, they can hit.
On the floor. If Klay Thompson's on the floor, it's not over.
I mean, yeah, Clay or Steph, they can hit 2 threes at any moment. It's not like it's an easy game. It was 2 possessions. Everyone made it feel like it was dead. It was never dead. Yeah, it was a weird timeout. I don't think it was the right move, but I don't think it was a terrible move. I don't think it cost you the game, but some people can view it as that.
Yeah. Well, what did you think about that final play by the Raptors? So they get bailed out and have DeMarcus Cousins set an illegal screen, which, 1, wasn't an illegal screen. It was a moving pick. 2, the refs had been letting them get away with it all night. So I can understand why he was frustrated about it, because he'd been doing it all night. They hadn't called it, and then they call it in the final minutes because, it's an illegal screen. You can't do it. But then the Raptors come down. That final play, I just didn't get it. It was they got the ball to Kawhi, which makes sense, but they got the ball to him with 8 seconds left. As soon as he started to take a dribble, I think it was Clay on him, and Draymond just left his guy. Yeah. And it was like, oh, okay, they're going to double him. But then Kawhi tried to take both of them on, realizes they're going to double him, and tries to pass out of it, and they kind of scramble around. And Draymond ends up tipping that 3 from Lowry and puts it wide. But I just didn't understand that play. It was like an ISO for Clay for Kawhi when you know he's going to get doubled. And that I'm fine with doing the Kawhi ISO. Do it with 12 seconds left. Don't wait till 8 seconds. Don't start dribbling at 6 seconds left. And so they kind of shot themselves in the foot because they didn't even give themselves a chance to pass out of it, really. And I mean, they got a decent shot out of it, but it was one that Draymond was able to block. I thought they could have been a much better play at the end of it.
You got a good look, so I can't really complain. Draymond made a good play. I think if Marc Gasol rolls more towards the hole, that they have a chance. It's either Kyle Lowry's getting that shot off. It's not getting deflected by Draymond, or Marc Gasol's getting the easy layup.
Yeah.
You said there was a double there. It did leave Danny Green open. They went to Fred VanVleet. I mean, he was just trying to get rid of the ball, I think, and needed to get the shot off. Danny Green was the guy that got left open. He goes to Fred VanVleet, which is an opposite side of the corner, and then they have Kyle Lowry has room, but Draymond makes an insane play to get over to the corner and affect the shot. I don't think it's a bad play. I think they got a good look, which is all you can really ask for.
Wouldn't that have been a much better play if Kyle Lowry has 2 seconds left when he gets the ball instead of having to shoot? That was my thing. It's Kyle Lowry, and maybe he still shoots or whatever, but it was I just thought it was one of those things where it's yeah, I get it. You got to give the ball to Kawhi and have him try to do something because he's your guy. Don't have him start attacking with 6 seconds. It just didn't, especially when the Raptors, this whole series, they've been one of these teams where they'll have the 24, they'll, do a stunt, get a look, pass it up, come back out, run another stunt, and then find their shot. They've been taking, usually 18 to 22 seconds to get a shot each time down. And they didn't even start their action until 6 seconds. And it was started earlier. It seemed like they got away from their offense a little bit.
I feel like that's what they like to run there at the end. They like to have the ball in Kawhi's hand. They want him taking the last shot. So, I mean, if you're going to take the last shot.
One of those. I think they wanted one of those where they were if we make it, we don't want to give them any time.
Yeah, obviously, they want the last shot.
But it's who cares if you give them 2 seconds? You have to make it. That's the problem. You have to make it. Because, I don't know. I just thought that people were talking about the timeout. I thought the bigger thing was that was a terrible last play. And, I mean, it's led to Game 6. So that's what it is now.
I would say
Game 6 back in Oracle.
I would say the Warriors made a better. I don't think it was a great It was a lot of good rotations, a lot of good adjustments.
No,
I don't think the play was that bad because you just want Kawhi to get a shot up there. I don't know if they kind of expect to double.
You knew they were going to double him. You have to double him, and you want him to make the right play to the open shooter.
He's taken multiple last shots in these playoffs alone. He has the one big shot against Philly. We know that. But he's had other shots where he's taken it down the stretch. You know it's going to be in his hands, and you want him to take the shot. So I don't mind him setting it that late, and you get a decent look off. I just don't think he made the right read off the double.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't. As soon as it missed, I turned it off. I was I don't really care. I was just I just wanted the Raptors to win, so I didn't look at that set anymore. So I need to go back and look at that last play to see Danny Green. If he was open, then that's the play.
He has space, and they have Steph on him, which I don't. Yeah. I don't think Danny Green's going to take him to the hole, but maybe.
I mean, anything would have been better, or well, not necessarily better, but passing it back out with 5 seconds on the clock.
It was less than that. Yeah, it was 3.5, 4 seconds.
Yeah, you just can't make that. You can't do that. All right.
We can either go into the Kevin Durant injury, or we can talk what's going to happen. Let's talk Kevin Durant, then we'll go into what's going on in the rest of the series.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk Kevin Durant. Unfortunate thing. So it is an Achilles. We don't know if it's fully torn or anything. He had an MRI today. I don't know what the results are.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about the results. I'm going to look that up and see if they said anything.
I tried to find something. I couldn't. He's seeing a Achilles specialist in New York. The thing was, watching it, as soon as it happened, you saw him on the ground. I saw him grabbing his ankle. I was like, oh, that's an Achilles. Oh, man, he popped it. And then, have you watched the slow motion replay?
Yeah, I've seen it's just It looks like it.
It snaps. It's
It looks like it
someone
blows
pulling
up.
a rubber band and lets it go.
Yeah, it looks like he got like shot in the leg.